Hi, I'm Mike from Michael's Motor Cars, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I have a particularly interesting car to show to you today. Come on over and take a look at it. If you follow our auctions, you'll find that we love stories on the cars and we love learning about the histories on the cars. This to me is the story of a Triumph TR4 that just refused to die and refused to give up. This was a California car. We do have the British Heritage Certificate on the car. We know that it was built February 7th, 1962. It was dispatched from Triumph February 15th, 1962, and it arrived in Los Angeles, California. So it had been a California car the whole time since it came over from England. The car, later in its life, was purchased by a guy who intended to do a complete and thorough restoration on the car. He stripped the whole car down. They had completed the frame. The frame was sandblasted, media blasted, powder coated, all new components put on the frame. And the frame and driveline was basically done to museum quality restoration. Extremely well done. And they were starting to work on the body. And sadly, the fellow died. So the car, the incomplete car, landed in an estate. A fellow who now lives in Lancaster acquired the car and all the miscellaneous parts, the restored frame, the body being done, from the estate. And then over the next 20 or so years, he was accumulating parts and getting chrome work done, getting bits and pieces, always with the hope of finishing the car. But sadly, time went on, life went on, and the car didn't get done. Finally, in Lancaster County, the same guy worked with a local older gentleman who we are very familiar with, Skip Luce, who had restored many, many award-winning cars, a lot of older, much older cars that he restored, and had a lot of first-place awards at Hershey. And he contacted Skip and said, "Skip, would you consider reassembling my Triumph?" Skip said yes. They did it, and then that started a 5-year restoration to really finish the build from 20 years earlier. I'll show you some details on this car. Skip is well known in the area for his attention to detail and how he loves to do cars. I mean, they're just phenomenal when they're done. So first, the nuts and bolts. We do have the Heritage Certificate. It is not the original motor. I'll talk more about that. It is not a numbers matching motor. It is a body matching. That's correct to the certificate. And of course, it has all of its plates and numbers that are correct for the VIN on the car. The fellow who originally was doing the car, I believe, did vintage racing. He had other cars that he raced, and the engine on this car, he chose to do a mild tune on the motor. So it is a TR4 engine, but it has been balanced and blueprinted. I saw invoices. I believe it has an ISKI cam in it, and it has higher compression, slightly overboard pistons. So we definitely have a built-up TR4 motor. It runs beautifully. It pulls. It's very strong, very tractable, very streetable, but stronger than your normal TR4 would be. He opted for the standard carburetor setup, but here you can see the level of detail that Skip does. He loves polishing all the brass. He did a lot of brass era cars. Everything is just beautifully done. The plates are riveted on properly. The inner fender wells, of course, everything's painted properly. The wiring is nicely done. The radiator, I mean, everywhere you look on the car, it's a high-level restoration. Beautifully reassembled by Skip with all these parts that have been accumulated through all the years. It is not the original color. The owner, the current fellow we bought it from, liked this red, so he chose this red color. On the interior of the car, they did go with leather. So beautifully done, all leather interior. There is nowhere, anywhere on the car, on the leather, on the seats. It's all like new. The owner maintained the car beautifully, never drove it in the rain. It was in his garage most of the time, then he would take it out for drives. They did put a different steering wheel on, a wooden steering wheel. The dash wood was redone. Everything you see is essentially new or was redone on the car. Carpeting, carpet sets, and just beautifully done. They also chose to go with the Panasport wheels, which are neat on the car. And here's a little Skip detail. Skip Luce, the restorer, made these center caps. So he took old Triumph emblems, had them fit, and custom fit them into the center cap. So that's the kind of attention and detail that Skip loved to do. Sprint Classic radial tires, which I think are very well suited for this car. All the chrome was re-chromed and nicely done. Everything fits beautifully, the lenses, everything's nice and straight and true. And the trunk of the car, same thing, beautifully done. New carpeting here. There's the spare. And you can just see all the fasteners, all the fittings are very well done. Jumper cables come with it. The interior paintwork is nicely done. I mean, it's a very typical Skip Luce restoration. It also comes with a complete tonneau cover that has never seen rain or sun, for that matter. It's like new, and it's a full tonneau cover. We also have a brand new, never used, Robbins top for the car. It's never been out of the packaging. We have a battery charger. We have various books that come with the car. The fellow did a couple different books with all the different things on the car, so he documented everything. All this comes with the car. And we also have a huge binder with all of the receipts while the restoration was being done. All the individual parts that were purchased, the machine work that was done, the assembly process. So if you're looking for a slightly modified car, it has a slightly modified motor. It runs better than a stock TR4. It's an original TR4. It's not an A, just a regular TR4, straight axle in the rear. Gorgeous car with the Panasport wheels. The interior, like the exterior, is as new. The door cards, all the chrome, the trim, the wood is just gorgeous on this car. As you would expect, everything works. All the gauges work properly. The car drives beautifully. Very strong, very responsive car. If you've driven a couple TRs, you would know right away this car is strong and runs better than average, much better than average. So please ask us any questions you may have. Please take your time. Really look at the detailed photographs that we do, particularly of the underside of the car. It looks as clean as the top. The chassis, the wheel wells. We'll be doing some driving videos, also a cold start video to show you oil pressure. But it's really a special one with a lot of great history. Skip is still alive and well. He actually comes in and works on some of our antique cars. So he enjoyed doing this car, and it was really a labor of love for him because he loves cars so much. So thanks for taking the time for watching the video. Hopefully we will find a really nice home for this TR4 that just kept waiting around, and now it's beautiful again. Thank you.